Like, not only have I not filmed this style of video in close to 18 months, I just sat and filmed something with no audio. Not a single stitch of audio in the time since the last video was filmed. For you, the release schedule should be, for you, it will have only been 2 weeks between when you saw the 3rd video and the 4th video, but know that I actually haven't seen that footage since, I don't know, April 2022, and it's gonna be coming out in September. It's coming out the 1st week of September. It's August 8th, so things that have changed on the channel is that first, I'm no longer covering The Bachelor. Second, I finished the Click series. You did it, girl! You did it! So yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while since I sat down. Okay, so when I filmed this video, the Queen was still alive. Trump hadn't been indicted multiple times. He'd been impeached. I was on book 3 of the Click series, and I was still using my other journal, and now we moved on to this journal. I have a different journaling style. I'm hoping to have the same style video. I really want them to be the same because they're slightly different than the Click videos, but I don't remember how. I know I leaned into a lot of the references and a lot of information about Hollywood, but outside of that, you know, I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm just here to finish what I started, and that's all I'm ever here to do. When I filmed, when I took a break from filming the Click videos, between, like, in reality, like August, but from like October until February, I did not remember how I did those. And that's why those videos are a lot shorter, because I was just like, let's get this done. Alright, this book held me captive for 1.5 years. Let's get into it. So at the end of book, this is Paparazzi Princess, Secrets of My Hollywood Life by Jen Kalanita. At the end of this book, Secrets of My Hollywood Life, Family Affairs, Caitlyn comes back from shooting her movie, and she's kind of okay with Sky, and that ends up getting her on the shit list of this girl, Alexis, who wants to come and be a series regular on a soap. They fight, bicker, go back and forth. There's some things that happen, and like all the things that are happening with her job. Meanwhile, her relationship's in turmoil. At the end of it, her boss is like, hey, you're doing great. I love you. Don't freak out. Show's ending. And of course, Caitlyn has only been doing this job since she was 4. This is the only thing she's, like, truly the consistent thing she's always done. And as her family's sole moneymaker, this sends her into a tailspin. And that's really where we find her. Because Caitlyn is 17 years old with no driver's license, no SATs. She's gonna get a high school equivalent, diploma equivalent, but she's relatively uneducated. All she knows is Hollywood and acting. At least in this book, she attempts to write that, but when you're the sole provider of your family and your job just got canceled, it can be a bit stressful for all involved. As a reminder, this book series is my manifesto that child acting should be illegal. I don't know. If you can't figure out how to tell a story, like, does the story really need a child? Like, we should have, I don't know, because I don't want to replace actors, because if you open up the door to replace child actors with AI, they will continue to push out that until they're replacing adult actors with AI, so I don't really know what the answer is. I do know that it feels immoral to have children be the sole moneymaker for her parents, because, like, in Caitlyn's case, her dad, she's like a reverse Nepo baby. Like she's got Nepo family where her mom's job is managing Caitlyn, even though she swears she's not a momager. But Caitlyn's dad's job is sometimes being the producer on the movies that Caitlyn makes. So he's literally making money off of her making money. And now, of course, her brother's on the show, is on Family Affair for its last season. And he's also getting the same gotta be a Hollywood starlet thing at 15. Like, oh my god. And also I didn't realize he was 15 until I read the 4th book. But yeah. So let's read the back of the book. Want me to tell you another Hollywood secret? Also, let's discuss this book cover before I get into it. I called it peak indie sleaze. And yes, it is. It's also ugly party rock anthem. Party rockers in the house tonight. Like, I feel like I need to bust out my my long armhole tank top, to American Eagle long arm tank top, and an absolutely highlighter colored bandeau to really sell this book. But you know, let's get our party rocking on. Want me to tell you another Hollywood secret? Very early in the television premiere season, the buzz always centers around pilots that have star quality of some sort. If the show has a big name creator, is a popular current spin-off, is it based on a popular book or movie, or has a star attached, then everyone gets all excited and writes about how the pilot is the next Friends or Sex and the City or Gossip Girl. Sadly, it rarely works out that way. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter who wrote the pilot or who's attached or to star, what book the pilot was based on. To get picked up, the show has to be good. It's that simple. No, but don't worry about it. She puts the actual back of the book in the... Oh my god, not me. Not Megan of 10 years ago, 12 years ago, doxing us. You can see that it's actually on the inside of the book. Am I covering all that? Yeah. Child Megan needs her ass whooped. Girl, if you don't stop putting our address places. That doesn't even look like a 4. As the last season of Family Affair comes to a close, primetime teen star Caitlin Burke is no closer to deciding on what she wants to do after the show ends. Struggling with career choices and bummed over a ridiculous catfight with her BFF Liz, Caitlin is so mixed up she even starts to semi-bond with her arch nemesis Sky. Worst of all, she falls in with 2 of Hollywood's biggest party fiends. When one of them asks her, do you ever get to do what you want to do? Shopping sprees and the Tinseltown nightlife seems fun at first, but Caitlin soon realizes that being a paparazzi princess just might be the downfall of her career, her reputation, and her relationship with everyone she loves. We'll start with our TV tomes, and then we'll work it out. Do I have TV tome? Catching Up with Caitlin Burke. Family Affair's favorite daughter talks about life after the hit TV show by Steve Diamond. TV tome. Pretty soon Family Affair will be no more. How are you coping? KB. It's hard, you know. I've been on this show practically my whole life. Let's talk about something happy, like where I'm going for my winter break. TV. Sure thing. Where are you going on vacation? I'm glad you asked, Steven. My family hasn't been on a major vacation in years, so I'm really excited to turn off my cell phone and veg. Caitlin's flank, Lainey Peters interrupts and is heard insisting Caitlin not reveal the location. I'm sorry, where was I? Oh! I was saying I can't wait to get away. Guess you can't say where, huh? I don't think I'm allowed to reveal what hemisphere I don't even think I'm allowed to reveal what hemisphere I'll be in. If the paparazzi knew, they'd probably turn up in droves. I'm no Angelina or Brad, but a few faithfuls always seem to know where I'm going before I do. The paparazzi must have cut me a lot of slack over the years, so I don't mind too. Much when they want a picture, as long as they're not mid-bite. I'm not illiterate. It has to be hard to deal with the press courts, you're their personal princess. But they seem to like when you fall from grace, too. Well, yeah, I have some scuffles. I've had some scuffles, haven't I? But that's what happens when you're 17 and you live your life in public. You're going to mess up and everyone's going to know about it. I'm just thankful that I've learned from my mistakes. I never want to get completely out of control, which is why I keep a life outside of work and stick close to family and friends. They keep me grounded. And don't forget the boyfriend, Austin Myers. How are things going between you and the haughty high school lacrosse player? Good! He's amazing. Austin makes it really easy for me to think about more than just work. He's fun to be around and he makes me laugh. I couldn't ask for better. You're going to hate me, but we have to talk about Family Affair now. Okay, it's just that you're the first reporter to ask me about how the show, about the show ending since it was announced publicly. I'm still in denial. What are you gonna miss about Family Affair? Definitely the people I work with. FA is a second family. It's going to be really hard not seeing them practically every day anymore. Can you tell us anything about how the series will end? Your guess is as good as mine. Our executive producer, Tom Pullman, is keeping the final scripts under wrap. None of us have seen them yet. What about you? What do you think your life will be like post-affair? I know I want to do projects that will help me grow as a person and an actress. Beyond that, I'm not sure. Hopefully a restful vacation will help me figure out the rest. Family Affair airs Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. Caitlin's next film, Pretty Young Assassins, starring her ex, Drew Thomas, hits theaters this May. Okay, so this book, I don't remember the first book fully having them, and I know that the last book did, but this book has little pap, interstitials, reporter, news things at the start of every chapter. I will read through some of them. Help kind of tell us where in time we are. Caitlin finally gets a vacation after the drama of book 3 with Alexis and whatever. It's been over a year for me, lol. Caitlin goes on a tropical vacation to Turks and Caicos where she meets Ava Hayden and Lauren Cobbs. They are devious C-tier socialites. The two will spend the book pushing Caitlin to do bad and dangerous, reckless activities. The two will fill the role of Paris and Nicole Richie types if they were everything the press says about them. Caitlin's mom still sucks. Fuck you, Meg. And that's crazy because in the next book there's another character named Meg and I'm like, there's so many Megs. What's up with you and a woman named Megan, Jen? Do we have beef, Miss Calanita? Kate's mom still sucks. Like, I don't remember what I said in the last book, but Caitlin's parents suck and are still writing their 17-year-old daughter. And now their little 15-year-old son, Nepo baby son, Matt, with his role on FA, they're really and deeply invested in her picking a project before they lose money because their world revolves around Caitlin. The mom, Meg, frowny face, wants Caitlin to do a reality TV show as a way to jumpstart her own career. Meg is really the worst. Like, I don't know if this is like one of those things where this book could have been the last book, so we're kind of like setting things up to end. But like, I hope this is like the peak of how bad she gets. I don't know. She's still pretty bad in the fourth one. Hollywood Secret number 1. Where do stars vacation? To be honest, the same place as you do. We head to Hawaii or the Caribbean for a good tan, the mountains for some fresh powder and ski action, and Europe when we want a change of scenery. But the reason you probably don't bump into us is because how discreetly we travel. While some stars go commercial first class, Brad and myself, many prefer private jets. And as for where we stay, when we want a little R&R and very few autographs requests, we pick high-end resorts known for their zipped-lipped staff and guarded quarters to keep the praying eyes of the paparazzi away. So she ends up going parasailing. She meets Lauren and Ava on the whatchamacallit, on the beach. She goes and they're like, oh my god, do you want parasailing? That's so slay. And she's like, yeah. And they end up chit-chatting, and then Caitlin's mom is like, no friends! Leave, homewreckers. The theme of this book is sadly everyone uses Caitlin. I wrote that because I was tired. I would say the theme is actually everyone has everyone has projections of what Caitlyn should be doing next, and instead of asking Caitlyn what Caitlyn wants to do next, they're like, why aren't you doing the thing I asked you to do next? And it's like, did she ask to do that next? Big stressful tired. Okay, chapter 2, back to reality. Caitlyn and her bestie Liz just can't seem to link up. They're moving in 2 different directions at 2 different speed. Caitlyn's just trying to keep her head above water, and Liz is moving forward with SATs and college trips to NYU. Liz meets this girl in Hawaii who's going to NYU, and she's just so great and so wonderful. Caitlyn is happy for her friend, but feels like she's being left behind, being pushed by her parents. Sarah, her character on FA, is acting out, and so is Caitlyn. Every time Caitlyn has to do something about moving on, she just kind of procrastinates and pushes it off and cries and generally freaks out. Austin is here. He's fine. He's winning the teen book boyfriend Olympics by not hating her friends, her job, or everything about her and seemingly liking her because she's different. Like, he doesn't want to change her. He meets her where she's at. Book 4, no notes on Austin. He's great. They go on a little date. He's also talking about SATs, which makes Caitlyn kind of shaky. Literally, she's on a date with him, and then all of her team calls her because she has to do a meeting about, work. And it's not that I don't understand that she actually has to, work and do things, but it's kind of like, she's never had a normal life, and now you're yelling at her because she's scared. I'm very ADHD. FA does, speaking of Sarah acting out, FA does a little thing. My face must look confused because Nadine adds, don't worry, your lines are easy. The network wants you to shoot some clips about FA going off air so that everyone and their mother turns in. You're meeting with Melly and Sky on the set in 15. Nadine hands me a piece of paper and I look at the brief script. Because again, this is all she's ever known, and I know that they can't keep it, they gotta slow it down. They can't slow everything down for the kids, but think of the kids a little bit. Will I finally get my act together? Will I convince my family I know what's best for them? The only way to find out is to tune in. Don't miss the final 8 episodes of Family Affair. You'll kick yourself if you do. Paige looks at her. What? They will. Faces the screen again. Don't miss what everyone is going to be talking about. She's got a point. Remember when TVs used to do interstitials? The It Goes There Degrassi ads? I have to look up and see if there are any, Degrassi. Now you know they're Degrassi ads. There are any, Dawson's Creek ads. 8 episodes left. Don't say we didn't warn you. Family Affair. Sundays at 9. 8 episodes. Oh my god. And she's just struggling. It is very tough for her. She goes on the date. She literally gets interrupted to go to a meeting for her career, which is I get it, but also let that girl a break. Hollywood secret number 2. Movie trailers are an important piece of real estate for a film. A good film trailer can create industry, fan, and internet buzz months or even a year before the movie releases. Barbara. Hopefully the strike will be over by the time I post this. I'll know when I'm editing if it's close enough. But Barbara movie. I knew about the Barbie movie when I filmed the last book. A lousy trailer can drive potential moviegoers away in less than 2 minutes. Movie trailers have become so important that studios actually vie for placements before certain films and even request what order their trailer be traced in the rotation. The last trailer before the feature is typically better than the first one, which most people miss because they're buying milk duds. The inside word is that some studios pay big money to make sure their trailers get shown exactly where they want it, but you didn't hear that from me. Caitlyn is nervous about sharing I love yous with him. The Hollywood secrets have been getting less and less juicy. They pick back up in book. Chapter 3 doesn't have an interstitial. Cool. 3. We get to the cinch for a cause, which this is very important. And we start with our Hollywood secret. Hollywood secret number 3. Most stars don't have time to oversee their own BlackBerry messages, let alone run a restaurant. Many stars in the restaurant biz are usually silent partners who contribute with their wallets and recipes. What star doesn't want to share their mother's beloved meatloaf with the world? If a star's eatery is good, the place can be can be a way to bring in cash in between projects, but if a business is bad, it gets really nasty bashing in the press. This year's event, so Rodney drops me off at Clinch for a Cause luncheon, and I'm standing outside of the restaurant trying not to fall asleep standing up. We shot on location last night till 11, so I'm exhausted. Under eye circles or not, there's no way I'm missing out on this. Clinch? Too many C's. The way I chew things has turned my teeth into a little hellscape.
Cinch.
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 Cinch. There's no CH. Cinch. Okay, so cinch is so cinch is like this whole thing, and cinch lunch combines two great perks. I can buy a limited edition handbag and raise money for cancer research. At the same time, this year's event is being held at Mac Murdoch's Cuban American eatery Fusion. I doubt Mac will be on hand for this event. Mac once told me that he only drops in a few times a year. Mac's restaurant is pretty good. Lunch is semi-casual. So she's got this whole deal going on. Okay, so this one is like, gets a little sassy. So she goes to an event for Cinch and she buys a purse from the company and it looks like this. First deal is that she goes with Liz. The two try and talk, but they get pulled about when they both finally have time to sit down. Liz has to leave to go smooge with NYU board luncheons. So Caitlin feels really bad and lonely, and when she goes out onto the dance floor, she meets out with Lauren and Ava, who sit and talk to her and then convince her to buy a $3,000 bag that looks like this. It's leopard print. It's essentially a moto jacket that is a purse. And you know what? As a person who lived through 2010, I know this was on the market. Something that her parents would not approve of. Nadine gets Caitlin into the Vanity Fair Oscar party. Also, Nadine is really invested in Caitlin taking and succeeding at the SATs. This will come out later, but like Nadine is normally Caitlin's like person who she can be like, hey, things are getting really crazy and really hectic, and Nadine can normally see that coming and normally can be preventative. But she's so worried about Caitlin taking the SATs that she's like, oh, you're feeling bad? Maybe a practice test will help. It doesn't help. Chapter 3. PrivateHollywoodEyes.com. Hollywood can't make a move without us watching. Blogs, sightings, bios, archive. Leaving Tremont Plastic Surgery Clinic. Don't think that Hermes scarf and Chanel shades can hide your face from us, Alexis Holden. We saw you leaving Tremont Plastic Surgery Clinic. Who is Alexis? Big white bandage over your nose. Has your honker been downsized? Your new publicist says she was there researching a role, but we think otherwise. The no's no. And as they say, Alexis, once you come out from behind that Hermes scarf, we'll know for sure. Causing a scene at Yoga Central. Loopy Pretty Young Assassins director Hutch Adams threw a hissy fit at his nightly yoga class when a substitute instructor asked him to move his mat so there was room for another student to join the class. After repeated attempts to calm Mr. Adams didn't work, he was removed. Don't think you'll be doing downward dog there again anytime soon, Hutchy Boo Boo. Double dating. Drew Thomas, you dog. You and your sweet little dates may not have realized they had competition for your affection, but we caught you red-handed at 5 p.m. on Saturday. You took a mysterious blonde for dinner at Koi. Too early, dude. What were you doing? Hoping for an early bird special? And then at 9:30, you had a brunette on your arm as you entered shelter. Let's hope neither of them read this column. New BFF spotted at Cinch for a cause luncheon. Family Affair star Caitlin Burke was shopping and laughing with new best buds Hayden Baden, Ava Hayden and Lauren Cobb at the annual Cinch for a Cause luncheon benefiting breast cancer research. See our pictures under the Stars Out section. Sources tell us the three are inseparable and have vacation together over the holidays. And Caitlyn may be in talks to do a reality TV show with the girls, which would follow their adventures in a Malibu rental next summer after Caitlyn's stint on Family Affair ends. Unlike Lauren and Ava, the party lifestyle is new for Caitlyn, but she seems to be settling in just fine. She was seen sipping and toasting with an unknown beverage at the luncheon. I'm not saying it was definitely alcohol, says one witness on hand, but with those two girls at Caitlyn's side, I wouldn't be surprised. Oh my god, not them giving her the boozer. I'm giving her the big boozer. Chapter 4. Caitlyn Burt kidnapped. Paparazzi is swarming. Larry the Pap is there, seemingly always. That last thing I read was just, other than the whole deal about Caitlyn, we also get to hear about the downfall of all Caitlyn's previous enemies. Paparazzi is swimming to meet. It's time to meet with Seth. Meg has a profile with Fashionistas. Fashionistas magazine is a big women's Bible type of magazine. Seth rattles off some roles. Meg vetoes some. Caitlyn gets more and more irate. Seth pitches a Broadway role, Meeting of the Minds. Caitlyn's dad likes it, and so does Caitlyn. Megan does not. Meg wants Caitlyn to cut a CD after the singing thing from the last book. This is where the reality TV show pitch comes in. Everyone but Meg cringes at the ideas. Fashionista wants to profile me in their next issue. Mom sounds excited now. I'd have a photo shoot and they'd follow me around for a few days and then I'd do an in-depth interview. I wouldn't talk too much about you, of course. Just my management duties. But Lainey thinks that I should clear it with you first before accepting. She stares at me hopefully. Finally something Mom needs my permission for. I'm so aggravated I want to say no on the spot, but I look at Mom's elated face. Fashionistas is a big, thick fashion Bible. It's incredibly hip and read by most of Hollywood. Mom is obsessed with it. You should do it. It sounds like fun. Really? Mom looks like she's about to burst. She starts punching numbers on her cell and using her long fingernails. Thank you, honey. I've got to call my trainer and add more workouts. Get my hair redone and set up an airbrush tanning appointment. The photo shoot is next week. I love that this book, Seth actually becomes a character as part of like the lineup of people who give a shit about Caitlyn instead of just being like a faceless, her agent. If you met Seth 6 years ago, you wouldn't recognize him today. Seth wore Dockers and Old Navy polos and had a big brown glasses that always slid down his nose when he talked in a soft, low voice. He didn't make eye contact much, probably because his brown hair was constantly falling in front of his brown eyes. He was so pale that sometimes when he wore beige, I used to joke that he looked like the Invisible Man. He was fresh out of college, and it was his first year at CNC, so he was eager to work triple hard, which Mom loved. My old agent kept pushing for me to leave FA and stretch my wings on a real soap like Young and the Restless. I'm glad we ignored him. Seth envelops me in a tight hug and gives off a whiff of his cologne. Armani, perhaps? The newish Seth has gotten his groove on. He's tanned to perfection, thanks to airbrushing. His hair is still chin length, but product heavy, and I'm pretty sure it's highlighted. His clothes, Armani suit, Tom Ford tie, Prada shoes, are strictly from Fred Siegel or Barney's. The only thing missing are Seth's trademark silver shades. Usually whenever we're indoors or out, Seth has them glued to his face, along with his Bluetooth. So he's like a person now. We met Seth. Seth does like this whole thing, this whole like production PowerPoint about Caitlyn and like pitching her these things. There's a whole bunch of roles that people like, some people like. They're trying to figure out if they want to push her away from doing more characters like her character on FA, or if they want to push her more towards doing things away from that. There's a movie based on one of her favorite books, Manolos Are Meant for Small Feet. I Would Hate You If I Didn't Love You, a TV pilot. Caitlyn's not sure she wants to do a pilot, and it's Sky's #1 choice. Beth pitches her the Broadway, in which she's like, yeah, just doing like, they're calling it a 3-month turnaround. I, as a person who's not really a Broadway girly, but is a video essay girly, would call it a stunt casting. in a show called The Meeting of the Minds. You will be a natural, Seth tells me. The play we're thinking of just finished a sold-out run in London's West End. It's called Meeting of the Minds. The star, Meg Valentine, is coming to the States to reprise the role, but she has to drop out in May, which is perfect timing. They're dying to meet you. I did some plays back when I was in college, Dad tells us all proudly. There's no thrill like live theater, Kate. Every night is a different show, and you react off the crowd. I think you would really love it. I never heard Dad so excited. I'm about to tell Seth I want to read the script when Mom interrupts. Has no one thought of Caitlin doing her own CD? Shut up, Meg. It's not about you, Meg. Oh my god. I never felt more compelled to use a Family Guy gif. Oh my god. Hollywood secret number 4. Ever wonder why so many movie stars cross over into the music world? In my opinion, it's because they can make major cash from a CD. If they've already established their name as an actor, then music companies think that those fans will follow to iTunes. Nowadays, anyone who can hum a tune can make a decent record. You wouldn't believe how much they overproduce and synthesize things till you sound like a completely different person. You know, the pre-streaming world was a different world. She's different. I can't think in this day and age of a singer. The music industry is not a moneymaker anymore unless you are touring. And most celebrity actors do not have time to tour. I can think of musical acts that have moved onto television. I cannot think of any singers who have. I can't think of any actors who have turned to singing. And don't give me a list of people pre-2009, because the streaming era kills it. Like, you talk about Brie Larson and like all that doesn't count anymore. That's pre-streaming. Pre-streaming, not real. There's one more pitch, pipes up a tiny agent at the far end of the table. A Burke reality show. VH1 wants to follow Caitlin as she makes her next acting choice. They'd introduce your mom, and then when you're all tired of filming, they'd spin off the show and make it about her management business. I open my mouth to say no, but Mom speaks first. I love it, she gushes. Don't you think it's fabulous, Caitlin? I mean, I always thought I was destined for TV. People have told me I have a natural gift of gab. I have to call fashionistas and tell them so they can add this to their story. Fashionista is profiling me next month. Mom tells the room. This is a great idea. I can feel it. We should do a show! So, whatever. They want to do the reality TV show, but everyone cringes. I don't hate the idea because I think that reality TV show is so interesting. But whatever. They all kind of want Caitlin to pick a different project. Chapter 5. You have more script. At work, Caitlin is still having a tough time. She is coaching Trevor on how to get Sky to fall in love with him by playing hard to get. Liz is also trying to get into NYU's summer program. This is also she can talk to Caitlin about that. And Michaela, her older NYU friend. Maddie gets a pilot for a Scooby-Doo sequel, spin-off thing. Nadine is focused on how her being SAT ready and pushing her to pick a script. Caitlin is doing a Chili's ad. Woo! Chili's. Woo! Chile. Hollywood secret number 5. Most big stars would be caught dead doing a television commercial. Unless it's for a well-known charity. But voiceover work is different. And lots of big stars from George Clooney to Julia Roberts are rumored to have done it. The reason is simple. You can make big bucks in as few as 2 or 3 hours. The best part, stars put it in their contracts that the company will never confirm or deny that it's you voicing a little green lizard or singing bee. Commercials are the filet mignon of voiceover work. Oh my god. I love the idea that she is just in that booth, just being like, Chili's, baby back ribs. She's in a Walmart parking lot lifestyle, just being like, Chili's. Because I want Chili's merch. Chili somewhere merch. Lainey and Seth are both throwing Rolls magazines. And it's freaking Caitlin out. She Hulk smashes her phone and then meets up with Austin for a date to decompress. Austin can't be her date to the Vanity Fair party. And their date gets interrupted by Nadine and a role being up for grabs. when she does get Caitlyn to do when does Caitlyn get to do what Caitlyn wants to do? I can't believe I said that without knowing that is like kind of the tagline of the book. They run through this Hollywood Hot Topic, runs through all the different things that everyone's going to be doing on the show afterwards. After a summer-long hiatus, Mellie will be seen on the big screen in the girl power flick Revenge. Playing against type, Mellie will star as the mother of 2 small kids who finds out her husband is actually wanted by the FBI. Sky is doing Pretty Young's Assassin to promote with FA co-star Caitlin Burke and has offered to do several pilots. We hear she's this close to choosing one for the CW about bratty girls who live in a Chicago hotel and make backstabbing their favorite sport. That's honestly sounds great. I want to read it. Guess our favorite Betsy will continue to be the bad girl in town. We love to see it. Trevor is upping his smolder quotient as the shirtless star turns as a slacker surfer in Beach Bum from Can't Miss comedy director Just Apple, or maybe even Judd Apatow. This is going to be the film that takes Trevor from sidekick to major movie star. Tom, the director and executive producer, said to be in demand for several TV series offers. Tom has just signed on to do a pilot for the CW based off Scooby-Doo. The Buffy-esque pilot, full of sarcasm and too cool for school wit, follows the Scooby Gang and their comrades in Monster Slay. Don't be surprised if you see several affairs player pop up in the series. Sure to get picked up for the fall. Matt Burke, Caitlyn's bro, and FA's newest cast member just signed on to play Velma's boyfriend. Which brings us to Caitlyn. We don't know what Caitlyn's doing. Chapter 6. It's Saturday. Seth and Mom just came back from a breakfast meeting with the directors of Manolos Are Meant for Small Feet. I read the script and I loved it. It's very Don't Wears Prada meets Legally Blonde. Caitlyn wants Manolos Are Mine based on a book. Mom talks about why Caitlyn shouldn't like the project. She acts like she's been there before. She hasn't. She has a movie with teens in Alaska, which has piqued her interest, and Meg still wants a reality TV show. And for Caitlyn to cut a record with hot Kanye type producer we'll call him Evil Mike Made It. Mike Will Made It. To go see TJ. Evil Mike Will Made It. He asked her about her time with Ava and Lauren. By the time this video comes out, The Idol will be old news. But know that when I was reading this and scrubbing it, I had World Class Sinner stuck in my head. So we're going to be, just imagine that's what's happening. So literally, Meg and Seth take Caitlyn to see this producer. Seth is pissed because this guy is kind of scummy. And Meg is like, it can't be that bad, I got her. And Seth is like, you're overstepping. I'm her agent. You're her mom. Not even her momager. Her mom. Lots of arguing. But Evil Michael Made It has Caitlyn essentially sing World Class Sinner under duress. So let me read you this song. I'm not a singer, and I've also been filming for the last 5 hours. Of course, we'll build up your album with tons of pre-publicity. TJ adds. We'll rock at it. We'll leak the most offensive or hottest song first and see what the public thinks before we commit to a first single. Thanks for your time, TJ, Seth says, putting his hands on my shoulder and helping me stand. Mom quickly moves to Seth's side. We'll think about it and we'll call you. I look at the clock. I still have 15 minutes to get to the Grove. If Rodney takes the side streets, I might be able to make it on time. I sneak a peek at my sidekick. I have no new messages. I hope Liz heard my voicemail. Whoa. I don't know. I'm trying to do Chicago. I am not from the Midwest. Whoa. TJ holds up his hands and surrendered. This offer's only good as long as I can hear her sing. Meg said she has a killer voice, and I want to hear those pipes. My chest begins to constrict. Here? Now? I don't have anything prepared, I blurt out. I look at Seth and Mom. Mom's actually perspiring, something I haven't seen happen to her before. TJ hands me a sheet of paper. That's okay. I already wrote you a song. Our mixing room is on this floor. I've got a group waiting to lay it down. Once we hear you sing it, we can move forward. Okay, this is moving too fast for me. I glance down at the paper. The song is called Paparazzi Princess. I'm a motherfucking world class sinner. No beginner. No. I'm an alto. TJ, I don't think Caitlyn's prepared to sing for you today, Mom tells him. Maybe we could come back another time. Who comes to a record meeting, or to a record meeting about an album without being ready to sing? TJ laughs. You said she'd sing, and I cleared my schedule so that she could do that. The room is quiet. TJ has us. Seth pulls out the collar of his pressed white shirt, which he's wearing under a smart navy suit that I'm sure is Ralph Lauren. Mom fans herself with the sheet music. It's just that Caitlin's vocal cords are kind of strained, Mom starts to say. When she sees TJ's face, it could melt rubber. But I guess she could do a quick take. We can't make time for a studio session. Caitlin could sing a few bars for you right here if you want. Do you have a tape recorder? Mom. This will only take a couple of minutes, Mom says dismissively as TJ reaches into his desk and pulls out a tiny pocket recorder. I read over the words of the song and I'm not sure if I should laugh or cry. Alright, now imagine we are in the land of the Idol. You're Lily Rose Depp Jocelyn. You're about to get hand fucked by the Weeknd. Let us begin. You think you know me, but you can't see. I'm tired of being the princess. I don't want to win your heart. That was fine to start, but the truth is, chorus, this daddy's girl is ready to fly. Watch me, world, with a close eye. I've got a few new ways of doing things. This time, I'm the one pulling the strings. This time, I'm the one pulling the strings. Lights, camera, action. You've never seen anything like me, like the new me before. And you probably never will again, you bores. What? I'm a bad girl stuck in a good girl role. But now that the show's over, I've got a new goal. I feel like I haven't read this before, but I have. No begin. I want to be your paparazzi princess. I want to have your attention. Keep your eyes on my ascension. When you're not looking, I'm a different girl. I'm not Sam. I'm ready to take the bad news. Me out for a whirl. I'm just a freak, yeah. You know I want it bad. It's the same song. You can meet. You show me why you came. I'm a motherfucking world-class sinner. No beginner. No. DJ, hit it. Chorus. This daddy's girl is ready to fly. Watch me, world, with a close eye. I've got a new way of doing things. This time, I'm the one pulling the strings. Lights, camera, action. You've never seen anything like the new me before. And you probably never will again, you bores. There's more to it, but I can't read another line. TJ has got to be kidding. I'm being punked, right? This is definitely part of some celebrity nightmare show, for sure. But then I look at TJ. His face is smooth and calm. Mom is staring at me nervously, and Seth is sweating. I'm sweating. It's undeniably, like, terrible, cringe, misogynistic, like, a man writes for a 16 to 17-year-old girl. Very Britney, I'm not a girl yet not a woman, slave for you tease. I'm a motherfucking world-class sinner, no beginner. But like, oh my god. Why is it like that? I feel like Caitlin's appeal to the reader is her authenticity. However, I don't believe that that's her appeal to the people of the universe of the book, because Caitlin lies constantly and then gets caught in these lies and then is like, sorry. Okay, Evil White Male Made It is like, yo, sing my song. Caitlin's team sneaks out. Meg apologizes for going behind Seth and Caitlin's back. Caitlin has her first panic attack as Seth and Meg argue. Meg gives Caitlin her credit card as an apology. Chapter 7. Caitlin is rushing late to lunch with Liz. After that whole mess, she gets there thinking it's going to be bestie debrief, but no, Liz brings Michaela. She runs into Lauren and Ava. Put a pin in that. Put in that, besties, friends, co-workers. Can you guys not? So she runs into her, put a pin in that. We meet Michaela. Liz and Michaela are at a booth in the back of the restaurant. Liz sees me and waves. She's wearing one of her trademark headscarves over her long dark hair and olive skin. She looks great in peach. in a peach Chanel sweater that we got at Fred Siegel right before she left for Hawaii. Michaela's sitting next to her. I can't deny Michaela's pretty. She's got long, curly red hair and porcelain white skin that reminds me of a China doll. Her slightly round face is dotted with freckles. I can't see her whole outfit, but she looks very J. Crew from where I'm standing. Republican. Her green cable knit sweater and pleated khaki skirt stand out in a sea of J. Brands and Stella McCartney's that usually dot the patrons at the Grove. I look at Michaela and smile. "You must be Michaela," I say as warmly as possible. "It's nice to meet you." "That's me," she says and shakes my hand. I notice she gives me a complete once-over as I take my seat. "How are your meetings?" I blush. "I'm sorry I'm really late." I quickly fill them in on the 2 meetings, and Liz roars when I tell her about the song TJ had me sing. My bad mood vanishes. It feels good to see Liz, even if we do have company. "Oh, Kate, that's promising. That's priceless. You must be ready to kill your mom." I was, but she feels pretty guilty, I admit. She even gave me her credit card to go shopping. "That's definitely feels guilty," Liz laughs. I glance at Michaela. I probably shouldn't say too much more about my mom or about work in front of her. I know Liz likes Michaela, but I don't know this girl. I've learned the hard way that I need to be careful about who I say things in front of. I guess the card will come in handy. I say I have to get a new clutch for the Vanity Fair Oscar party. Liz's jaw drops. "You're joking. You're joking. You're joking." "How did you score an invite?" "Lainey got me in," I say giddily. "Austin has a scrimmage out of town, so I was hoping you would be my +1. What do you say?" Liz grimaces. "Oh, Kate, I can't. I'm gonna be on the East Coast. Daddy's taking me to look at a few backup schools. He doesn't want me to pin all my hopes on NYU. Michaela offered to check them out with me since she'll be back in NYU by then." "I know finding backup schools are important," I say gingerly, trying not to be too self-conscious, even though I know Michaela's eyes are on me. "But isn't there plenty of time for that? Do you have to go to New York that weekend?" "Lizzie, we've wanted to go to the Vanity Fair party since we were 12. "I know," Liz says regretfully, "but Dad already took the weekend off to go with me, and Michaela cleared her schedule. I can't cancel. I'll go with you next year." She gives me a small smile. "Sure." I try not to look too upset. If there was one thing I thought Liz would say yes to, it was this party. Suddenly I feel like the girl I'm sitting across from is a stranger. We hardly talk anymore, and she's planning trips and making summer plans without me. What happened to us? The silence is awkward. I decide to change the subject. "So tell me about how you two met." Michaela's face lights up, and she and Liz look at each other. The two look at each other and giggle. I was windsurfing, and Liz walked over and said she'd never windsurfed before and said she wanted to try it. The resort only had one board, so we had to take turns. Michaela's green eyes are wide. I didn't tell Liz I learned how to windsurf that morning, so I was just as bad as she was. Liz laughs. The two of us kept falling off and bashing our knees. We were so bruised up after an hour that we gave up, and then we went to the spa instead. After that, we were inseparable. Michaela tells me, grabbing Liz's arm and giving her a bright smile. "Liz tells me your family just moved here from New York," I mentioned. "My dad took a job this spring at the University of Southern California, which is great for him, but my sisters and I were upset." Michaela shakes her head. "Los Angeles is nice and all, but why would anyone want to leave New York City? It's New York City. It's the best city in the world. No offense. The rats would You know what? The rats would agree. The rats do run this city. We do not." Anyway, my dad felt bad and took us on a trip to Maui while our stuff was moved from New York. "I'm a native Los Angelan, and I adore it," Liz tells her. "You will too, I promise. Los Angeles is amazing." "Yeah," I pipe up. "Think of the weather. You'll always be tan, your lawn will always be green, and you don't have to deal with the snow. We have sunshine almost all year round. You can even swim in January. You also have mudslides, earthquakes, and wildfires, hurricanes, and New York was flooded last year. I'm sorry. It's that thing where people are like, people from New York being mean to everyone else, like being mean to people from LA, and people from LA are like, I love New York." Like, chill. Not to mention the major obsession with all things Hollywood and who has the most money or the best car. It's pathetic how people worship stars out here. Her cheeks redden when she looks at me as though she just remembered who she's talking to. Yep. That would include me, Michaela. I don't call her on it, though. "Anyway, I can't wait to get back to New York," she adds. "Michaela is a freshman at NYU," Liz tells me for the umpteenth time. You'll be one in 2 years, Michaela says confidently. Your scores were really good, and with the summer program, you'll be a shoo-in. She looks at me. What about you, Caitlin? Where do you want to go to college? I open my mouth to say something, hoping something clever and smart will come out, when Liz answers for me. Oh, Caitlin isn't sure if she's going to college yet. She might just get another show or do some films. Instead of college? Michaela looks surprised. I thought your show got canceled. It wasn't canceled. We're choosing to go off the air. Either way, it sounds like a good time to consider college, Michaela says. My parents have been talking about college since the day I turned 12. If you want some help looking at schools, I'd be happy to guide you in the way I am Liz. The offer is nice, but if anyone's going to help me in that area, it would be Nadine. Thanks, but how did you do on your SATs? Michaela interrupts. A good score is crucial. I blush. I haven't taken them yet. I'm taking them for the first time in March. You haven't taken them yet? Michaela looks like her head is going to pop off. But how will you have time to take them again 3 times before sending them out to your college applications? I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm doing yet. I may take classes part-time or put college on hold. That's crazy, Michaela tells me. What if your career washes up? Don't you want something to fall back on? Liz nudges her and Michaela seems to snap out of her trance. She takes a deep breath. Look, you seem like a smart girl. Take it from someone who knows. Literally a 19-year-old. Literally an 18-year-old. Literally, take it from someone who knows, an 18-year-old. Okay, putrid. Look, you seem like a smart girl. Take it from someone who knows. Good SATs are important. I know you're a celebrity and all, and I'm pretty sure plenty of schools would like you for that reason alone, but you shouldn't rely on their charity. Ouch. My shoulders tighten. My career is not going to wash up, I say stiffly, feeling the anger bubble up inside me. I know you don't know anything about Hollywood, but the truth is if I go off to college full time, then I am at risk of my career washing up. I appreciate your help, but I know what I'm doing. Study for the SATs, pick a movie, pick a TV show. I'm so sick of everyone thinking they know what's best for me. I need time to make the right decision on my own, and I need people to stop badgering me about it. I say hello to the girl that I am. Yes, overprotected, very Britney. Liz and Michaela just look at me. Our waitress hovers near the table with her drinks, but seems afraid to approach. I feel my cheeks burn. I can't believe I just snapped at Liz's friend like that. I'm sorry. I look down. The future is a sore subject with me at the moment. It's fine, Michaela says, sounding anything but fine. I just think it's a good idea to have a backup plan. She turns to Liz. I'm going to the bathroom. Now, this is where I'm mad, because if my friend brought along their friend, and their friend attacked me, I'm just assuming I'm not the friend anymore, and I can excuse myself, because that was inappropriate. But everyone's different, and 17-year-olds don't have their full frontal cortex to cook with yet. So we'll get to it. Jeez, Kate, what's with you? Liz asks when Michaela's out of earshot. Me? She can come on a little strong, but she's really nice, Republican. Liz insists. Michaela's really helped me with the college thing. She's got her whole life mapped out. That's inappropriate for a 19-year-old. And she loves NYU even more than I do. She practically grew up on campus. And you grew up near the Beverly Hills. That's way better, I joke, trying to lighten the mood. This is serious. Liz sounds agitated. College is important to me, and if you were around more, you'd know that. You're the one who's been MIA lately, I point out. You never return my calls, and we haven't seen each other since before Christmas. And that's my fault? Liz asks, sounding angry. You're the one who had the meeting after meeting and couldn't hang out till February 1st. I've been dying to talk to you, but you've been unreachable. You have no idea what's going on in my life. Y'all gotta start sending out newsletters. I just send newsletters. I feel like the room is closing in on me. And you have no idea what's going on in mine, I complain. I'm under so much stress every time I do talk to you. You cut me off. You don't tell me anything more, and you certainly don't listen. That's because I can't find you to talk to you, Liz accuses me. Michaela's been there for me. She knows what I'm going through. You and I both know that college is not your first priority. My next move is college. I want to get into NYU. You have no idea how stressful it is thinking about colleges and the pressure I'm under this year to do well. We all have different priorities now. I can't party all the time like you, Lauren, and Ava. Inappropriate. Over the line. Rude. I feel like I've been punched in the stomach. I don't party all the time. You know that those stories are bogus. Even if I was going to events more often and having different priorities never bothered you before. I choked, trying hard to fight back tears. What exactly is going on here? How did this conversation turn sour so quickly? What happened to us? I ask, afraid of the answer. I feel like we're worlds apart. Maybe we are, Liz says quietly. She doesn't look at me. Things don't feel the same. Maybe we're just growing apart. The words hang there, and the thought knocks the wind out of me. I blink several times, willing the tears. I thought we could talk to each other about anything, I whisper. Michaela reappears. Fuck that bitch. She shows back up, and Caitlin's literally on the brink. Like, I joke about Claire needing, like, an SSRI. Caitlin already been needed one. She needs a mood stabilizer. One of my tears falls on my wrist, and I wipe my eyes quickly with a napkin. This is all wrong. How did I lose my job, my best friend, and my ability to choose all in a matter of a month? I have to get out of here. I have to go, I say, not looking at Liz. Forgot I have an interview with Self this afternoon about PYA and FA. FA? Michaela asked, looking confused. It's what everyone calls family affair, Liz explained stiffly. Oh, I don't watch network television, Michaela shrugs. Just the History Channel, Bill Maher, and some CNN. Anyway, I interrupt. It was supposed to be at 4:30, but Lainey just left me a message saying they moved it up, and I have to be there in 45 minutes. Kate, wait. Liz looks tentative, and I can't look in her direction or I'll burst into tears. You sure you have to go? At least let me walk you out, she says. She has a weird look on her face. No thanks, I tell her and sling my cinch bag over my shoulder. Think I can take it here. It was nice meeting you, Michaela. Yeah, I would fist fight Michaela in a Denny's parking lot. She is the worst type of person, and I've met like 3 Michaelas in my life. Like, I get it. College. I get it. But also, the planet's on fire, babes. Like, I would be embarrassed if even if I was like, felt like I was growing apart from one of my other friends, I would be deeply embarrassed if I brought a friend there and she attacked the other one's interest, lifestyle, like that. Embarrassing. Time for the Vanity Fair Oscar party. Maddie is her date and he's nervous. They are both freaking out. They get in and Maddie has a great time, abandoning his sister to go talk with, abandoning his sister. Caitlin ends up getting to talk to her idol, Carrie Fisher. And Carrie Fisher is a celebrity that still holds up from 12 years ago. She rocks. We love her. But soon feels restless. Caitlin feels restless and goes off and finds Ava and Lauren. Everyone keeps giving her their condolences and it's really getting to her. Kate tries to call Liz and the call is broken up and Liz doesn't even try to call her back. Ava and Lauren scoop her up and they get to dancing. Larry the liar has appeared. She spills all her bad vibes and bad feelings, and Lauren and Ava listen and encourage her to follow her bliss and dance and shop and do whatever feels right and nice. This will follow her. So Caitlin's back at work. She's been dancing and she's been dodging Mel, her screen mom, so that she doesn't have to do her retrospective, the post-FA project. Mel puts out that she's pulling out of her, post-FA project. This buoys Caitlin and her feelings about the future. And that maybe she, does have a little more time. Nadine keeps pushing for the SAT thing. Like, Caitlin does this thing that's very clearly a cry for help in how she is interacting with everybody. The partying, the sneaking out, the, spending outrageous amounts of money. And yet everybody is just like, the cash cow, the cash cow, the cash cow. Like, at the end of the day, it's still a job for these people. Chapter 9, someone's in denial and it feels so good. I have my little asterisk that says there's this matrix of people who are supposed to have various roles that are set in this, this series so far, and then them absolutely not fitting into that role. So Nadine is doing like Lainey's kind of thing. Meg is doing Seth's job poorly. Seth has a larger role and is thus more Lainey or Nadine-like. Is really more like what a mother should be. Like, he wants his client to pick a project, but he also wants his client to not be miserable, because you pick a project and then you're miserable. But she's not going to stick with it, so that's not going to make you money. Everyone's mixed up, and it's making Caitlyn unstable. Hollywood secret number 9, even after a celebrity has made it public knowledge that they intend to do a film, it doesn't mean that it's actually going to happen. I've already told you about the stars that are dropped like hot potatoes because the director realized their golden child was not so golden after all. But what happens when it's the stars, not the director or the studios, who want to pull out of the role they've already committed to? You could probably pull out when you get the new draft of a script and hate it, or the film switches directors, but what if neither of those things happen? If you don't want to wind up slapped with a multi-million-dollar lawsuit for delaying filming, then you have to be careful. Most stars who do this sort of thing veto projects somewhere between the original verbiage agreement and the date they sign the official contract a few weeks later. Sure, it upsets the studio, but they can't actually sue you over that. And if the studio has already announced or leaked that you were starring in their summer must-see, it's their mess to clean up. Some more information about Nadine. Exactly. Then why are you dressed up, I ask. Nadine looks down at her outfit. I'm trying to dress more professionally, she says. But that's not important. What's important are the SATs. The test is in a few weeks, Maddie and I finish in unison, our voices as flat as supermodel stomachs. Exactly, Nadine nods, oblivious to our tone. We should really get in one extra test a day until then. Oh! And I talk to Seth again. She begins flipping through her binder and hands a few loose papers to Maddie. Since when does she talk to Seth? Maddie asked me quietly. Ever since she started morphing into Lainey and Mom. I whisper. I love Nadine to death, but I don't know how much more of these cheerleader SAT career prep rallies I can take. I want my real Nadine back. I don't understand what happened. Nadine went home for the holidays and came back a taskmaster monster. It looks like the director of Manola's is still out of town. Nadine frowns. I think Seth sounds a little worried you're not going to get this part, but that's just my opinion. The folks from that play are flying out this week to talk to you, but that won't work. You'll be studying for the SATs. I'll have to reschedule that. She begins dialing her phone. Nadine, wait! If they're flying out to meet with me, I can't reschedule. You have to keep the meeting short then. Nadine stresses. Your mom doesn't want you to do the play anyway. She says it's not enough exposure. I throw my head back and groan. What alternative universe have I fallen into? It's the only explanation I could come up with to explain how Nadine could be brainwashed by Mom. I roll my neck like Austin taught me. He thinks it will help the tension, and I seem to carry my neck and shoulders. My pockets start to vibrate, and I reach for my phone. Finally, some good news. Austin pushes Kate to talk to Liz. Kate finds herself in the magazines, partying and being a rock star, posing with Jay-Z and Ava. Caitlyn is pulled to do her retrospect for the show. She gets off and fucks around with. She gets off for doing it. She was at work at like 7. They're like, she works until 10. They're like, we won't need you again until 2. She's like, great, love that. She, instead of going to film her retrospective, goes off to play around with Ava and Lauren. They go shopping and eating, and Caitlyn ends up being late for work. She's shirking her responsibility. Also, while they're shopping, again, Caitlyn spends a lot of money. These are all red flags. The girls steal, which reminded me of this TikTok, and I wish I had saved it at the time, but it was this blonde white woman, and she was like, I wish I could truly explain to sociology professors that I am the not me, that her homecoming white women of my age are the prime demographic of shoplifting, because I know it, because I was there. They love to do that shit, man. That they would use, I don't fully remember her story, but it was very similar to one where a couple of friends of mine went shopping, and when they came back that weekend they were telling stories, and the other colored girl was like, Megan, they pulled out 5 or 6 panties out of a wallet. The wallet was like this size and this thin, and they pulled 5 or 6 thongs out of the Victoria's Secret and just walked out. And these girls were not hurting for money. They just wanted to do it. They just wanted to steal stuff and be bad and do hoodorette shit with their hoodorette friends. It's crazy. But like, Ava and Lauren do that. Caitlyn's like, I will not be caught up in this. It is getting bad. Chapter 10. Sorry, playing hooky. So this is when she's fucking around. She's shopping. Larry, the liar, has appeared. Ava and Lauren are like, oh yeah, we told him we've sold access to you, so if you're here, he can take a paparazzi photos. Be cool with it. And she's like, I'm not cool with it. They're like, be cool with it. They're shoplifting. Liz calls, and she hangs up as they keep breaking up. Caitlyn is spiraling. Caitlyn spends $15,000, or no, she sends $1,500 shopping to feel better. Ava and Lauren invite her to dinner the next night. Meg is self-involved with her Fashionistas magazine. Hollywood secret number 10. You know how I said a lot of stars don't do hands-on work in their restaurants? When it comes to a star owning clothing boutiques or having their own clothing label, the story is usually different. Several of my celebrity pals have their own labels, and they oversee everything from the first sketches and fabric to color choices to fittings, sitting in on meetings, and doing runway shows. If I had my own label, I think I'd want to make the clothes that are reasonably priced and fashionably cute. Maybe I'd have my own line at Target. Just because I spend a ton on clothes doesn't mean I don't wince at the sales receipt sometimes. Megan, can you put up both Rihanna, Jessica Simpson, Katy Perry's ugly shoes, the Selena Gomez, and the Miley Cyrus Kmart collections, the Nicki Minaj Kmart collection, the Miley Cyrus Walmart collection. Put all of that up there. So again, remember, Caitlyn is late. I'm just going to read the whole thing. Fashionistas, March issue. Mommy Dearest. Being a mother and manager to one of young Hollywood's hottest stars, Family Affairs' Caitlin Burke, is a juggling act, but Meg Burke says it's all in a day's work. If you want to keep your kid on top, you gotta push them hard, even if they hate you for it. Looking out for your superstar daughter's interests are one thing, but critics say Meg's bullying is not only alienating her daughter, it's turning off the whole town. It's almost 80 degrees on this January morning in Los Angeles, but Meg looks cool as a cucumber, dressed in dazzling Michael Kors pantsuit and Jimmy Choo heels. The mother of Family Affairs, Caitlin Burke, says she doesn't perspire. I will myself not to, she declares. It's so uncivilized. I told Caitlin if she concentrates, she can do it too. Just another nugget of advice from a woman who has the same, whom some have nicknamed a momager, a mother whom pushes, pulls, and micromanages her child's Hollywood career to the point of making them almost not want to. Some days, Caitlin looks like she just wants to cry, admits a friend of the young star. She enjoys acting, but her mom puts so much pressure on her. She enjoys acting, but her mom puts so much pressure on her that sometimes I think she'd walk away from the whole business if she could. Not so, says Meg, who claims her daughter gets to make her own career decisions. Caitlin has to work hard if she wants to succeed, says Meg, sipping an unsweetened iced tea poolside at the family's multi-million-dollar abode, which was paid for with the earning from her daughter's career. She's one of the least stressed teenagers I know. She has a great job. She has an amazing career. Girls her age would kill for that kind of attention. Is there anything wrong with making sure she ups that drive? Caitlin knows what we do for her is for her own good. What Meg thinks is good business, others see as a real problem. Caitlin could be the next Reese Witherspoon, says one studio exec. Others interviewed echo that sentiment. With Caitlin's show Family Affair off the air in May, now's the time for the young star to really carve a niche for herself. What could hold her back is her mother, adds a source, and there are studios who do not want to work with Caitlin because her mom always has to put in her 2 cents. Meg's always making Caitlin's deal more complicated, admits one studio executive. She feels the need to be a part of every decision, even though she knows so little about the business. All she cares about is the profit and what she can get from the deal. Those who know Meg can best claim that she's even driving Caitlin's beloved agent, Seth Meyers, up a wall with her excessive calling and her overblown ideas. This woman wants to live life through her daughter, through Caitlin, says another friend. She's going to ride that girl's fame to the bank. The whole family seems to have the same idea. A former secretary, Meg left her job to manage Caitlin after she scored a part as one of Paige and Dennis's twins on Family Affair. She was 4. Caitlin's father, a former car salesman, followed suit and started producing movies his daughter would star in during hiatus. After a while, their son, Matt, now 13, wanted to wanted to get into that business too. They drove studio executives crazy with their demands to get Matt hired for Caitlin's movies, says a studio source. The kid was cute, but he certainly didn't have the same potential that Caitlin did right off the bat. Matt currently has a role on What Else? Caitlin's show, Family Affair. Over the course of a few weeks we spent with Meg, we heard about her own love of stardom at least a dozen times. I always thought I would be great in front of a camera, Meg tells us one afternoon. I could be the next Diane Sawyer if I had the chance. She's currently pushing her daughter to do a family reality show that would eventually be spun off and just follow Meg in her management duties. Of course, Caitlin would pop up from time to time, she adds. So what does Caitlin herself think of all the drama? My mom is very organized, says Caitlin cautiously when asked to comment on her mother's manager nickname. Her momager nickname? It's on top. She's on top of a star. She's on top of everything and usually knows who the hottest up-and-coming star is before I do. I always tell her if she was my age, she'd be a star 10 times bigger than I am. Meg would love to believe that. Absolutely wreck this woman, and honestly, good. Good. Fuck you. Good. Caitlin has been shopping with Ava. Shopping being the stand-in for partying and hard drugs is so funny to me. Because, I mean, I get it. This is a book made for teen children. But the idea of them being like, okay, this is not the type of book. We're not going to have Caitlin doing cocaine and drinking. They could. It's a teen book. And we were a little less strict in the 2000s about what we were letting teens do. But they decided to keep it family friendly with shopping. Chapter 11. We interrupt this party to bring you an important message. Nadine tries to parent Caitlin. Caitlin lashes out. It's bad. I want to read through it, but it's a lot. She's like, I'm just not having fun. She's just like this isn't fun for her. It's not work, but it's not fun. It's bad. It's not good. When Nadine presses her about where she's been and shopping, she's like, it's nothing. Nadine's like, it's not nothing. And she's like, I never thought I'd see the day you'd be this irresponsible. What good is being responsible anyway? I questioned bitterly. Being responsible hasn't saved my beloved job or made me hear back from the Manolos director yet. It hasn't gotten me an offer for that Broadway show. So why shouldn't I blow off a little steam, as Ava says? Everyone needs to party. Nadine glares at me and I glare back. We're still glaring when Mom sweeps through the hallway. She's in full funeral black. She is traumatized. She hasn't left the house for days. She's so upset over it. The press is so over the top sometimes. They've written so many false stories about me lately, including the kidnapping and my vacation BFs, best friends, that I'm not worried about what they're writing now. It's not like I'm driving without a license and getting into fender benders or shaving my head. We don't need to attack Britney Spears. We're better than this. Nadine looks incredulous. Haven't you been reading the tabloids this week? Nadine, I've been a bit preoccupied, Mom snaps. I have a lot on my plate with this fashionistas fiasco. I don't have time to read of all of Caitlin's clippings. Nadine, seriously, if something is wrong, Lainey will tell me. Lainey has been annoyed, but she's only yelled at me twice so far. She's also very busy. One of her other clients got into a huge fight in Vegas and caused massive amounts of damage to one of the casinos. Luckily, Lainey has experience putting out Vegas fires. I know Caitlin has been going out a lot lately. There's nothing wrong with that. Mom continues. I've been begging Caitlin to be seen at events for years. I'm just glad she finally listened. Mind you, she's literally 17. This is a baby. You were yelling at a baby. Nadine rolls her eyes. Being seen out is fine, but I'm not sure the company Caitlin is keeping is the best. Controversy follows Lauren and Ava. I don't know. Lauren's mom is on a few committees with me, and she's a doll. Nadine's face darkens. This is one argument I don't think she can win. Nadine and I are alone. Awkwardly, uncomfortably alone. I sidestep Nadine and reach for the doorknob. I don't care what your mom thinks. Lauren and Ava are bad influences. I whirl around. I don't care what you think. I say boldly. I don't care how many articles you leave me. I'm not going to stop hanging out with them just because you say so. Nadine genuinely looks confused. I haven't been leaving you articles. Someone has. They've been leaving them under my dressing room door. Caitlin, I just want what's best for you, Nadine stresses. I thought you wanted what's best for you, I point out. Maybe if you stopped pushing me around so much and blabbering on about the SATs all the time, I wouldn't go out on a work night to blow off some steam. Just because you haven't done anything with your life other than become an assistant is no reason to take it out on me. You become a real pain, Nadine. As soon as I say the words, I want to take them back. Nadine's face is ashen. I didn't mean it like that. I was just angry, I want to say, but I don't. I didn't realize I was being a pain, Nadine says, looking hurt as she emphasizes the word pain. I'm just trying to be your friend. Friends tell each other when they're about to fall off the edge of a cliff, and that's what I think you're doing. Lauren and Ava aren't going to do that because they like watching people fall. They only care about themselves. Once you've driven your career into the ground, they'll move on to some other starlet, just like they did when they were friends with Sky. You know that's what happened, don't you? As soon as Sky stopped buying them expensive presents and taking them on vacation with her, they dropped her. You don't know what you're talking about, I say uncertainly. I know they're not friends anymore, but Ava and Lauren said it was because they had a fight. A car horn beeps outside and I jump. That's gotta be Ava and Lauren. I have to go, I say simply, and then I disappear into the warm Los Angeles night air while Nadine watches me from the front doorway. Whoa! Don't be mean. Don't be mean to your friends. Be good to your loved ones. Hollywood secret number 11. You know how songs from upcoming albums sometimes get leaked to radio stations or on the internet before a CD release and the star screams, "I'll sue"? Well, that pretty much is bogus. Most songs that are leaked to the web are on there because the label wants to test the waters and build up some buzz for an album before it drops. Sure, sometimes songs get leaked by disgruntled employees or eventual assistants that have been treated badly, but for the most part, when the stars say how hurt, upset, and betrayed they are to find out their hotter than hot new single was leaked ahead of time, they're usually stretching the truth. I feel like I need to link 2 different Naomi Cannibal videos about this because no, not in the modern age, and no. Not in the modern age, definitely not in the last 10 years. In the internet age, we've definitely come to a situation in which, yes, songs sometimes get leaked. Artists will leak a song if the record company is fucking them around, is dicking them around. But for the most part, there is also a contingency of fans and internet weirdos who take it upon themselves to release an artist's music without their consent, either for gain, power, or just because they think they are old. So it's different now, but you know, this book came out in 2009. Also, when I was reading the Fashionistas article, if you're like, Megan, how ADHD are you? I got distracted. But this book says that Matt is 13, and I guess he can't age that much, because in the next book, because I've already started reading it, he's 15. She says it straight up, my brother is 15. Jen, you gotta at least keep your ages straight. And it's only been like 2 months. Caitlin goes out with Ava and Lauren. Caitlin misses how things used to be. And an old friend comes up to talk. The two kind of talk about hopefully getting pilots picked up and everything, getting things off the ground. Ava and Lauren come up and rudely pull her away and then call Caitlin's old friend a loser for not having a project, not being a star. Caitlin leaves because this makes her uncomfy. She uses her magazine shoot as an excuse. They tell her that, oh, we'll come and totally be your stylist. Caitlin does not want them there. Now, the Hollywood secret for this chapter, chapter 11's Hollywood secret, put a pin in that. I don't remember what pins I told you to keep for the wall from when I was filming last week. I'm sorry. I'll know in the editing process, and I'll pop in to tell you when to take those pins off the wall. Don't worry about it. I got you, baby. I don't know how Caitlin didn't get turned off with those girls when the shoplifting happened. You know what happened to like 3 different starlets when they got caught shoplifting. We have an In the Know article about, is Caitlin Burke headed for disaster? America's sweet-faced teen stars hang out with some questionable new pals. Party girl Lauren Cobb and Ava Hayden. And friends worry this could lead to her downfall. I'm really upset about her. She's gonna ruin her career if she's not careful. I'm asking the public to pray that Caitlyn gets the help she needs before it's too late. 12. Caitlyn isn't sure of anything anymore. 200. Caitlyn and Austin arrive at the interview. Everyone is caught up in traffic behind an accident. So Lainey is like, don't start the interview. And Caitlin's like, totally. They do all the pre-stuff. They do a little bit of shooting. It's lunch. The interviewer comes up and is like, we'll just do some prelim questions. And Caitlin's like, okay. And I'm like, girl, that's a bad idea. Don't do it. If we remember, I'm going to read the Hollywood Secret. Hollywood Secret number 12. Sure. Like many British tabloids, actually sometimes pay for editorial interviews, and many stars like to do them. Not only are you paid, you get to control the content of the interview. You can state up front what you won't talk about, whether it's your crazy religion, your nasty recent breakup, or your hush-hush rumored lipo. Lainey's only ground rule for mine was that we not discuss Austin at length. My request, not hers. So it's time for the interviewer. Caitlyn, the interviewer's like, we'll just do a couple of preliminary questions. And Caitlin's like, sure, which is like, Lainey told you not to talk to him. Do not talk to him. Chrissy looks at her watch. I'm sure she'll be here soon. We'll start off with a few easy questions until she gets here. Okay, I say, quickly swallow the last bite and wipe my mouth. Austin is going to sit in if you don't mind. If you don't, I don't. The first 10 minutes of questions are easy. My favorite things to do on an off day, what I wear when I'm at home, what my last vacation was like, and then they progressively get more difficult. Austin and me, I briefly answer without too many details so that some parts of our relationship is kept private, what my hopes for my career are, and what possessed me to do such things as fight with Alexis Holden in public or hide out in a public high school disguised as someone else. Let's be honest, I saw those questions coming. Interviewers ask them every time. Lainey's still not here, but I feel comfortable enough to keep going. I get a little nervous when she asks about my mom's bad interview in Fashionistas and why I don't have another project lined up. But then the FA questions begin. Talking about working with Maddie is easy, but I still can't seem to swallow the topic of FA ending. Can we do those last, I ask? Sure, Kirsty smiles. Let's get back to the career then. Where do you see yourself a year from now? I take a breath. I hope I'll be working. I want to continue making movies, and I wouldn't rule out doing another TV show. Do you think you'll make another album? Chrissy asks me. An album? I don't think so. I don't have a great voice. Your voice is adorable, Kirsty insists, and the Paparazzi Princess song is just a riot. We're looping back around to just a freak, yeah. You know I want a bad. You know, just real pop star shit. The Paparazzi Princess song, I say slowly. My hands go numb. How does she know about that? I don't think I've heard the Paparazzi Princess song. Austin looks amused. Caitlyn's been hiding her singing talent from me. I grip Austin's hand tightly. I never told him about the music meeting because I thought it would go all away. Seth was supposed to get the tape from TJ ages ago. It's been on K-Rock twice already this morning. What? I practically shriek. I try to calm down, but I feel like I can't breathe. I'm trying to take deep breaths, but I feel like I'm gasping for air. I wipe my hands on my jeans. They feel cold and clammy. I mean, that was never meant to be released, I say. I steady myself. I only recorded it for a meeting. That was not meant for the public. When my lawyer finds out about this, I'm sure he's going to come down on whoever leaked it. Bad thing one has happened. Lauren and Ava come in, and unannounced, uninvited. And they touch clothing with their sticky, gross hands, and the dog pisses and shits on the designer clothing. Bad thing two. I try to speak, but my throat feels like it's closing. Something is seriously wrong with me. I'm so dizzy. I'm sure I'm going to fall. I reach out and grab the couch for support before my knees buckle under me. This can't be happening. Where's Rodney? Where's Lainey? Or Dad? I do not want Sure to think this is the way I roll. I try to taking deep breaths to calm myself, but it's not working. I can't get enough air. By the way, Katie, Ava says, we heard your song on K-Rock. How come you didn't tell us about it? My song. Everyone must have heard it. I'm going to be the laughing stock of the whole town. Suddenly, the spacious living room begins to shrink. I feel like walls are closing in on me. I have to get out of here. That dog, the stylist screeches. He's peeing on the J. Godfrey. You guys have to leave, I say more sternly, but quietly, so that I don't make an even bigger scene than there already is. It takes all of my energy to get the sentence out. I feel like everyone is far away, and I'm in some sort of bubble. Their voices are muffled, and I can hear the swooshing sound in my ear. Even if I did assert myself, the girls are still ignoring me. I hear something shatter and one of the assistants scream. The whizzing in my ear grows louder, and I stumble. Austin grabs my arm. I feel so feverish. I don't think I can stand on my own. Austin, you are not being helpful, because I didn't even pay attention to this line the first time I read it. Caitlin, you've got to get Lauren and Ava out of here, he says to me, but he sounds so far away, I can barely hear him. I hear him say my name, though. Austin never calls me Caitlin. Ever. That means things must be really bad. Christy turns to me. I want your friends out of here now, she says angrily. And, like, this girl is having an actual panic attack, and everyone's like, get her out of here! And you're just like, what planet am I on? I can't breathe. Caitlin has a panic attack and passes out. She tries to kick them out, but continues to pass out. Hollywood Nation, online. Breaking news. Caitlin Burke is rushed to the hospital. February 21st. Family Affairs star Caitlin Burke has been admitted to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center this afternoon after collapsing at the cover shoot for Sure magazine that was taking place in Hollywood Hills. You could hear people screaming, a witness on the scene said. 10 minutes later, an ambulance and the police arrived and things got chaotic. A caravan of paparazzi and Caitlin's family and friends, including her distraught boyfriend, Austin Myers, and publicist Lainey Peters, followed the ambulance to the hospital, where only family members were admitted to the entrance. While details are still sparse, the hospital sources says Caitlin's condition is not life-threatening, and there have yet to be any statements made from Caitlin's camp. This latest incident caps off an out-of-character few weeks of Caitlin. Just this morning, K-Rock began playing a rough demo of a song supposedly sung by Caitlin called Paparazzi Princess. The good girl has also been hitting the club scene and hanging out with notorious party pals Ava Hayden and Lauren Cobb. Both friends were at the shoot with Caitlin when the incident happened, but neither was allowed into the hospital to see her. Lainey Peters refused their entrance at the door. We don't know what happened, said a tearful Ava during an impromptu press conference that she gave in front of the hospital. 1 minute Caitlin was laughing and happy, the next she was lying on the floor. All you can do is pray she's okay. While Sure has yet to comment on what happened, insiders tell us that Caitlin was upset after Ava and Lauren showed up unannounced and disrupted the shoot. Those two are terrors, and Caitlin was having a hard time making them leave, says a source. A few minutes later, Caitlin collapsed. Hollywood Nation Online will continue to update you with the situation as more details become available. Chapter 13, A Clean Slate. She ends up waking up pretty quickly after passing out, because that's actually a thing. Like, if you stay out for too long, that means your brain's doing something. Well, that's more than just, you gotta go to hospital. They pack her up and take her to the hospital. Rodney's freaked out. The parents are crying. Nadine is there in her bridesmaid dress because Nadine is out of town at her cousin's wedding in San Francisco. So we do the thing in every one of these books that I hate, where Caitlin apologizes to them. And I understand, like, a teen has to apologize. And I understand she's out of control. But they take no responsibility for their involvement in her behaving the way that she does. It's like, Caitlin is stressed because she is a single breadwinner for her family. She has a bad time about that. They're like, Caitlin, how could you do this to us? No! How could you do this to me? It's my house. And my house, my job pays for everything, and you're gonna be mean to me? And you're gonna demean me and my feelings? Prison, prison, jail, jail. Jail, jail, prison, prison, jail, prison, jail. So she apologized. Everyone is like, no! Except for Meg. Meg is like, well, I mean, why didn't you tell us? And I can only gesture at this point, 4 books that I've read that says you are not receptive to her when she's like, I am not having a good time. They're like, but would you have more time making more money for us? And it's like, I get it, like, adults work, but we are in 2009. We are in a heyday we're at the tail end of a heyday of teen actresses. She could just sneeze and make so much money. But I guess we're here. Meg and Seth argue about the publicity, and they bicker, and because Meg is the worst, the doctor says that this is an anxiety attack. And she's like, yeah, it is. I've been anxious. Love the young people. Well, they can be brought on by a number of things, says Dr. Calhoun thoughtfully. They usually occur around periods of sudden stress or fear, and are moments where you sense a loss of control, life transitions, avoidance of panic-provoking situations, or environments. Have you been experiencing more anxiety, or has anything caused a lot of stress lately? Don't look at me! Mom freaks out on everyone before I can answer. I didn't know the demo would be stolen. Seth promised to get it back. How am I going to tell the press that she's in the hospital because of a panic attack? Lainey wonders out loud. A panic attack makes her sound like she doesn't have her act together. Lainey has a point. How am I going to face everyone at work and tell him or her I was hospitalized for a panic attack? Doesn't it make me sound weak? I'm sure pictures of me being rushed to the hospital are already all over the web. I am completely embarrassed. Everyone in the room starts talking at once. They're yelling at each other, and the noise is deafening. Nadine is yelling at herself. Seth is yelling at Mom about my demo tape. From what I can make out, a disgruntled assistant mad at TJ released it to the radio. She has since been fired. Lainey and Dad are screaming about who's responsible for my partying and how they're going to handle the situation in the press. I hear Mom say something like, I had my own tabloid nightmare to attend to. Maddie, Austin, and Rodney are looking on in bewilderment. Before things can get any uglier, I've got to get control of the room. Guys, stop! I yell, and they actually listen. Again, why does Caitlin have to be the adult in the room? Constantly. The professionals are just trying to beat back these parents, and then Nadine's got her own shit going on. It's just, this is a child. Caitlin has to be the voice of reason and the adult in her family, and they keep arguing. It's like 2 pages of this where they shriek about whose responsibility it is onto this child. The director of Manolo's is turned off by her party girl image, and thus the movie in Alaska goes to Sky, which chaps Caitlin's ass. Mom freaks out that they have no job lined up, which is why it's like, maybe you don't lean on a child? Yeah. Lainey decides that they should plead exhaustion and they have their flimsy little excuse. Hold up. Hollywood secret number 13. There's probably not a day that goes by that a publicist doesn't have to issue a statement on behalf of one of their clients. Whether a star is getting married, divorced, separated, having a baby, or apologizing for a feud, there's only so many ways you can word it. If a phrase works, we're saddened, we're thrilled, we're ecstatic, we're overjoyed, then why not keep using it? That's what Lainey has realized. She stalks by several statements and adjusts the wording to fit each new situation. We'll get sure to give you an exclusive about fainting on set and how important it is to drink water. It's a flimsy excuse. Kate has to do press for Pretty Young Assassins, and Kate is going to be the hottest topic. Wrap up Nadine's plot circle. Everyone leaves. After Austin leaves, it's just me and Nadine. Her silver bridesmaid dress makes a swishing noise as she walks over to my bed. I can't believe you left your cousin's wedding to see me after all the way I've treated you the other night, I say guiltily. I was just left a little early, she tells me with a small smile. You should have seen the look I got on the plane, she laughs, and then her face turns serious. I came as soon as I heard. I was so worried about you. Nadine, I'm sorry about the way I've acted, I tell her. Stop it. It's me who should be apologizing, she says. I pushed you too hard about the SATs and your meetings. Your plate has been so full. You need an ally, and I only made things more hectic. I know you were trying to help me, but it felt like you switched to Team Lainey Mom just when I needed you the most, I admit. Nadine looks away. I feel like I've let you down. Her voice quivers. I have a confession to make. When I went home to Chicago for Christmas and saw my parents, they gave me this big speech about my life and how I was wasting it. You're kidding! I'm flabbergasted. The way Nadine has always talked about her folks, they sound like the coolest people in the world. They said I have done the silly assistant thing long enough and probably saved up enough money to go to graduate school twice, and that I need to stop fooling around and concentrate on my future. She looks at me and her eyes are watery. They said I had to stop slacking off. Now I feel really awful. I said almost the exact same thing to Nadine, but I was just being mean. You never slack off, I point out. You work harder than anyone I know. They don't see it that way. Nadine shakes her head. I tried explaining how important I am to you and how I'm trying to make sure you have a future that includes more than just acting. I guess when I came back to LA, I wanted to make sure I really did that and didn't realize how much pressure I was adding to your life. I'm sorry, Kate. I'm sorry I said those awful things to you. I began to blubber. The two of us cried out for a while. After we're done, I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders. I'm finally making amends for my actions, and Nadine's is only to start. Aww. Bestie vibes. The play on Broadway still wants her, and so that is still on the table. 14. Page 243. 14. Meet the press. Nadine gets Liz and Caitlin to meet up. Page. They talk and apologize. I knock it out of her hands and the hanger clangs to the floor. Forget about the Nicole Miller. I'm trying to apologize, I insist. I'm sorry for everything, for not being there when you needed me, for the way I behaved with Michaela and how I treated you when you called me. I'm the one who should apologize for being a lousy best friend. When I saw the news about you being in the hospital, I got so upset. I was in Chicago with Dad this week on business. Otherwise, I would have come right away. I was going to call you, but then I didn't know what to say. She sounds all choked up. I had to see you in person. We got back last night. She starts to cry. I'm so sorry I wasn't there for you. How could I have missed how stressful family affair ending has been on you? I was so wrapped up in my own drama with NYU applications and college visits that I couldn't see you when you were in the same boat I was. She starts to hiccup. I didn't mean what I said about us growing apart and not being able to relate. I was just mad that you weren't around, and I know I said some awful things. And I got wrapped up in Michaela's story about New York and NYU, that getting into college was all I could think about. Liz continues. Michaela made me feel like I was so far behind everyone else, Liz adds. She made me feel like all the Hollywood stuff I did was frivolous. Liz grabs a tissue from my counter and blows her nose loudly. My whole life has been this town. She sounds angry. My dad is in the business. If he wasn't, and I hadn't met you, I wouldn't even know I wanted to be a producer. This town works for me. Anyway, I got tired of her lecturing me all the time, and I haven't spoken to her since she went back to NYU. You mean I have Lizzie all back to myself again? That's so wrong. I started rereading Nadine in my favorite self-help book, Embrace the True You. And chapter 12 is called There's No I in Friendship. The title doesn't really make sense, but the point is that you're supposed to raise your friends up and not be happy when they fail. I did the same thing with Lauren and Ava, I tell Liz. I didn't see who they were until it was a little too late. They didn't act the way real friends would. You're my best friend, and I should have been there for you when you needed me. I shouldn't have to let one stupid fight get in the way of that. I should have apologized to you weeks ago, but I was being stubborn. I was wrong to say stuff about college, Kate. Our friendship doesn't ride on whether we're both going to college. We'll be friends no matter what, where we end up. What we have is so much deeper than a 4-year school. I know, I wail, and we both start bawling and hugging again. That's when I hear Nadine come back into the room. She sees us and smiles. That's what I was hoping for, Nadine tells me. Alright, cool. They're back together. They have a good cry. It's good. It's now time for press. Drew comes in like a terrorist. Like, this man has like, I don't know if he did anything. I can't remember if he did anything in Family Affair. But he shows up in this book like a true, honest-to-God terrorist and is like, you're washed up. No one cares about you. I hope you die. Like, he is on full Twitter troll mode. And then Skye comes in. Skye coming in is my favorite character these last 2 books. And it's just like, shut up, Drew. You dumb bitch. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Skye comes in and defends Caitlin. Skye's excited for her pilot. Hutch, the director, comes in and is like, Caitlin, you've given me the best gift you could possibly give me. Free press. I'm sorry, I think I'm having a low blood sugar. Hutch is like, oh my god, my little money bag. My little press maker. Because Hutch is insane. He's like, you have brought so much buzz to the movie, not even mad at you. You're good. Caitlin tells her team that she wants to just be honest about the issue. Meg finally apologizes for being fame hungry. She does this apology every book, but it gets better every time, where she's like, I'm sorry, I'm literally the worst. And Caitlin goes, I love you, Mom. I was hoping we could talk a minute before you go out there, Mom says, looking more awkward than I've ever seen her. I feel like I owe you an apology. I sit down on one of the couches and Mom sits next to me, leaving a huge gap between us. Mom, it's okay, you don't have to say anything. Mom grabs my hand. No, I do, she insists. She shakes her head miserably. Fashionistas is right. I've been a horrible mother. She starts to sniffle. You're not a bad mom, I say. If you didn't look out for me, who would? But I take it too far, she blubbers. I just want what's best for you. And sometimes I blur the lines too much. You should be my daughter first and my client second, not the other way around. Mom. No, let me say this. Mom tells me sternly, I want you to be the best version of yourself, Kate. And sometimes I think that means the biggest actress there is. But in actuality, I realize it doesn't have anything to do with the acting. It has to do with you being you and growing into the woman you want to become. And that means allowing you to make some of your own decisions, even if I don't agree with them. Mom, I told you at the hospital, I know you're only trying to do what's best for me. I say quietly, but I have to admit, this feels good to hear from Mom. And I trust your decisions sometimes, but sometimes I want you to listen to what I have to say. I've been in this field for a long time, and I know what kind of roles I want to take at this point. I just don't want you being taken advantage of. This town can be so tough, and I don't want them to destroy you. I've seen it happen to so many other girls your age. They won't. I've got you. I've got Seth. I've got you. I've got Seth. I've got Lainey. You're all helping me make good decisions. You just have to listen to what I'm telling you once in a while. They apologize. Time for the TV tone. I was going to read it, but that TV tone is just them being like, if not a party girl, she just had an anxiety attack because chapter 15. Read it and weep. It's the last chapter for FA. The scene is that the family is waiting to move out. I don't know what the Hollywood secret was for chapter 14. Hold up. Hollywood secret 14. If you're a huge A-lister who can barely handle more than an hour talking about the film you were paid $50 million to make, a regular press junket is not going to cut it. Why spend half the day answering the same question when you can do it once for a huge audience? That's why the Toms of the world don't do junkets. They do press conferences. 100 journalists are packed in a room and they get one chance to ask their question. They'll all wind up with the exact same quotes since Tom only has to answer the same question once. The girls have grown so much. The family's like sitting around. They're just like trying to like procrastinate leaving the house. And it was like whatever. So Caitlin has to do these lines. They shoot it in improv a couple of times. Last day on set, and Caitlin has to go do her retrospective. Caitlin has grown so much. And even just the 4 books that we've read from her, and that's like a year and a half, maybe 2 years. Hollywood secret number 15. How to cry for the camera. When we shoot scenes with several people, like the final one we're shooting today, where they can take a long time to film, you need to get every person's possible angle. Close-ups, you rearrange the cameras, the furniture, and take 100 times to get it done. A scene that can take 2 minutes on film can take 6 or 7 hours to shoot. You wind up saying the same line 10 times over and over for hours, and each take just has to be as fresh and perfect as the take before. That's hard when you have to cry like a baby each time before, and every time make it look so real. So how is it done? Some actors keep a raw onion nearby. Others stare at the sun without blinking or stare straight ahead until their eyes begin to water. But for the rest of us, you really do have to think of something super sad. You know, like your dog dying or the worst possible moment of your life. For our group, crying should be a piece of cake. We really are saying goodbye to the house. Caitlin finally gets to do a retrospective. The entire cast supports her as she goes off at her role on Broadway. Alright, 16, it's time for the rap party. We always end these with a rap party. It's a big prop auction. Caitlin still has to pay back her mom the money that she spent, which is crazy because it's her money. Liz is coming to New York for the summer. Yay. Okay, Caitlin gets the role in the Broadway show. They loved her. Liz is coming to New York to do her summer program there. So they get to live their like besties. Like we didn't kind of learn this lesson in the first book, or in the second book, we're getting Liz and AD and to live together is probably going to be a little contentious when you mix friends with business. Austin and Caitlin still love each other. However, they're going to be trying to do the long distance thing, which will be hard because he'll be in Phoenix doing lacrosse. She'll be in New York. Different time zones, a lot of hard work days. Everyone's trying to do what's best for their career. Will they stick through it? Hollywood secret number 16. How much do stars get paid to stay on hit shows? Networks will do anything to have a hit show, and they seem to think a bankable name is the way to make money. I know small film stars that command $80,000 an episode to head to the small screen. But some insiders are starting to worry that the fan connection can be ruined when they hear a star makes over $150,000 an episode. You don't want to be seen as a gold digger. One of these days, salaries are going to take a huge nosedive. I know it. Writer, actor, solidarity. Literally, Mandy Moore in the show This Is Us was making like $1 million an episode and then no residuals. So when that money's gone, it's just gone. The janitor guy from Abbott Elementary has been working in Hollywood for 35 years. He got a check for a residual was 35 cents. Or it might have been 9 cents. The salaries took a huge nosedive. And people don't like hearing that celebrities make a lot of money and that a lot of money doesn't seem like enough for them. However, the problem is always going to be the people who are not doing the work, making the most amount of money. That being the execs and producers that are shafting writers and actors out of their residuals. There's enough money in the budget for everyone to get paid what they're worth. And they are refusing to do that. And that's why they were striking in 2023. When this video comes out, the strike might be done. It might not. However long it takes. Austin will be staying on the West Coast. Melly, the TV mom, is also coming to the East Coast. And we end up, I'll tell you a little spoiler for the next book. We see a crap ton of Sky. I love Sky in these books. I love her being just like a bitchy friend. Everyone deserves a bitchy friend. And she is hitting all those marks. Hollywood Nation Celeb Scoop. Caitlin Burke tackles Broadway. Family Affairs Samantha is all grown up and taking on her toughest role yet. Live theater. In the Broadway Smash Meeting of the Minds, does she have what it takes? Do she have what it takes? I'd like to say no. Actually, I kind of love her not being good at, like, in rehearsals. She's learning, and she's got an absolute terrorist little co-star. Sorry I had a little blood sugar halfway through this. Hold give me a second. So, yeah, that was Paparazzi Princess. The next book is Broadway Lights? Broadway Lights. I've owned the books for a while, so it was very funny reading. Like, really, this book was very transitional between, like, the big swing and end of Family Affair. We could have skipped this. This didn't need to exist. But the big swing into from Family Affair to her being on Broadway, because that gets set up in the last book, is that Caitlin kind of wants to do Broadway. And we could have completely U-turned this and just gone directly into the Broadway. It's neat. It was a neat book. It took me, now I like it because I'm removed from it. It took me from May 2022, according to Goodreads, until July of 2023. I could not make myself read it. But you know what? If I'm going to do YouTube, I'm going to do things that you guys like, and I'm going to do things that I like. Now, I know I filmed an outro already, so I'm kind of going to let that ride. Yeah, I'll see you in another couple of weeks for Broadway Lights. And then the last book, No Place Like Home. That's also the fun part. Is like, I knew it was going to be, she was picking Broadway because that cover. After I finish reading this book, my schedule, I kind of want to set it up. It's going to be it's going to be looser, but starting, so, the deal should be coming out in October. December is Megmas. On my other channel, I do, like, for the week of Christmas, I do a week of uploads. And then and last year I started doing a short a day over there for that. And I think I can still do that. That's going to be fun. I will be, for December, that's going to cover us. There will be, you know, our book of the month will be the last week of the month. I want to work on the next series, which if I don't have a video to fill that spot, our secondary book of the month, which our secondary series is going to be The Daughters, because I bought these books around the same time and could never get myself to finish reading those. And you know, my secondary interest is always gonna be Nepo Babies. And that one's created by Regis Philbin's Nepo Baby, adult Nepo Baby. So we're gonna have ourselves a time. You know, I'll be here on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Megan_Blush_. And I'm just, you know, vibes. I'm gonna go consume calories so I stop having a low blood sugar.